All right, everybody, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning. Welcome to hour one of what is going to be about, I guess, 9 hour day. 9 hour day today. How are we doing on this fine Sunday morning? We got Dolphins, we got Panthers, we got the whole thing. What did we have last night? Let's see. I didn't even see the scores from last night. I was so otherwise occupied. So I know that the Avs beat the Rangers. I know that the Panthers beat the Jackets. Blues beat the Senators. That was good. I saw that. Hurricanes beat the Preds 6-3. The Bruins unfortunately beat the Devils 4-1. Montreal and Toronto went to the shootout, so that went about as poorly as we could hope. 2-1 Montreal. Flames 2, Utah nothing. The Islanders just shut out the Lightning, but at least both teams are on a back-to-back, so that helps out a little bit. Kings shut out the Blackhawks 6-0. The Canucks beat the Wild. The Red Wings beat the Kraken, and the Oilers beat the Jets. So that still has us in next to last place, but that's okay. That's okay. We get the 2 points. We found a way to get the 2 points. That's all that matters right now. All right. How's everybody doing? Bucks, good to see you. Hungry says, gotta love that win one game and Twitter is claiming we cheated. At this point, it's just hilariously blind hate from everybody. How did we cheat this time? I love to hear the conspiracy theory. How did we cheat this time? Hey, scientist. Yeah, I think Tarasov should be a go for today. Patel says, just like Jaws starting at 5 after the hour, like old school TBS Superstation. Yeah, it's exactly like that. Why did they start at 5 after the hour? Did anybody know the answer to that question? Boy, I went to the gym this morning, took a hot shower, now I'm hot. Yeah, why did they start at 5 after? I don't even know the answer to that question. Hey, Colby, how we doing? Can I be the only one who suddenly has 10,000, or is that a 10 or is that 100? I got my glass 10,000 times more confidence. I never doubted them for a second. They look like they woke up yesterday. When Columbus made it 4-1, it looked like they said enough is enough is enough. So we'll see if they can carry over that energy today, right? They claim, the sixth goal was a grabbed puck. Oy, for freaking hell. I don't know. Since, I understand it, Hungary, people are broken. It happens. With any certain sports team, look at what happened to the Patriots when they won. Look at what happened to the Chiefs when they won, right? Teams that win, they get the hate. And considering the situation being that, I'm going to assume it's mostly Canadian fans that are, where is that on leave, or is that on Twitter? I guess that's on Twitter. We're hated. It is what it is, right? Hey, JC. Colby thinks we'll beat Colorado if Tarasov starts. Well, we're going to see him today. And then what do we got? Wednesday, Thursday, right? So I suppose it's possible that we could see Bob against the Mammoth and then Tarasov against the Avalanche. It's very, very possible that it could go that way. I know 6 goals yesterday wasn't fantastic. Not every goal was, completely on Bob. There were some goals that he'd like to have back. And then there's goals that he makes the save on, and the rebound goes right off of Forsling and in the net, Hey, Bill, how we doing? Yeah, we finally got a W, man. Hungry says it's the Leafs and Bolts, mainly in the odd Blue Jackets guy. That sounds about right. Everything we do is cheating. Honestly, it just makes me want to have this team win more than anything. because boy, oh boy, oh boy, eventually when they do lose in the playoffs, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. But, I mean, I understand the Jackets had a rough night there with the challenges and everything, right? Tell says, with yesterday's game, I would have been happy with 1 point, but it's even better with 2 points. Yeah, I mean, once it was 4-1, and those last 3 or 4 minutes when we tied the game, I'm like, just don't do anything stupid. Secure the point. You know, you couldn't get no points out of all that effort. And then 3 seconds left in overtime. How beautiful is that? They just never quit. And I'm glad that they didn't make it something that had to come down to the shootout and up to Bobrovsky. You know what I mean? I'm kind of happy they didn't make Bob work even harder. He had a rough enough night as it is last night. Poor dude. I mean, not every, I mean, what? We had the 2-on-1 where Balinskis was back there. And we had another couple 2-on-1s that he stopped. Then you had the one that went off of Forsling. I lost track. Honestly, it was so crazy that, well, the first two, I hadn't even gotten up. The first goal, was it? They scored 2 quick goals. I forget when it was. It was 1-1. Yeah. And then when they made it 2-1 and 3-1, I hadn't even gotten out of the chair yet because I texted with my father. Hadn't even gotten out of the chair to go lift for the first goal, and when we allowed a second one. Tell says, where are all the people complaining about no income state taxes? There are quite a few teams in the playoff race. Good point. How are the no state tax teams doing? Tampa's in first. At least we're not the Sabres, right? I mean, what are we, 5 points out? We're still 6 points out of second place with 3 games in hand. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We've got at least 1 game in hand. Oh, today, what are the games today? Let's see. How many teams are we going to catch up that game in hand with today? Avs, Flyers, Islanders, Panthers, Sharks, Hurricanes, Penguins, Stars, Blues, Canadiens, Knights, Rangers. Jackets got to play the Capitals, and the Blackhawks play the Ducks. So we're going to catch up on the Bruins. We're going to catch up on the Wings, Leafs, Sens. So we're going to catch up in games. And, I mean, honestly, that could put us right on the cusp, again, of being in the playoff spot. Right now, the wild card. Oh, my God. Did you see the Metro? The Metro. The Capitals are 37. The Hurricanes are 36. The Islanders are 35. And then the Penguins, Flyers, Devils, and Rangers are all at 33. And then the Jackets are at 32, but they've got a game in hand on most of those teams, except for the Penguins, only played 26 games. So in terms of the wild card, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams within 2 points, within 3 points of the wild card. It's just, and it's not been changing. Like, it's been this way for a while. We are not seeing the separation in the Eastern Conference at all. If anything, it's just gotten nuttier. Like, there's nobody even remotely close to being out of a playoff spot at this point. Like, the worst team are the Sabres with 26 points, and they're 7 points out of a playoff spot. That's crazy. When you go to the West, I know the West is a little bit different, Geez, the Avs and Stars were running away with it. Wild have 35. And then, yeah, you've got the Mammoth at 31 points and the Oilers at 31 points are the wild cards right now. Sharks and Kraken have kind of taken the back seat. The Kraken have lost 5 straight. That's not good. Flames have at least been over 500 the last 10 games. And the Canucks, well, no, the Preds are still the worst team in the league. Not by far. Not by far. Scientist says the only reason we won is because Marchand was eavesdropping on the Jackets bench. That was amazing. That he just skates over there. And I think if he would have been a little bit more sneaky about it, I think that he may have been able to stand there a little bit longer. Like he made it kind of obvious. You know, he wanted to get caught, so to speak. But if he had been a little bit sneakier about it, I think he could have just stood there for the whole time out. Now, what would really be funny, like Kyle said last night, is if he did that when we were playing the Bruins. That would be funny. If he went over there and while the Bruins were in timeout, he just kind of snuck in there. And I wonder how long it would take him to sort through that. But yeah, that was some funny stuff. Bolinskis was damn near peeing himself on the bench laughing at him. So I don't think I won't be surprised if we see Petrie back in today. Bolinskis has been adequately solid, but Sabrango, unfortunately, and look, he's got a lot of talent. You can see it. I certainly would not be giving up on Sabrango because of the mistakes he makes being aggressive, because that's what was wrong with Mike Matheson, who eventually turned out to at least be, a solid, top 4 defenseman. Matheson in his early years, for those of you who remember, that was his thing. It's like, wow, this guy can skate. He's got ability. But his timing, his timing and his vision of the ice and the flow of the game and everything, he would consistently get caught because he'd be too aggressive. And that ultimately is what, in part, led to his removal. But remember, we got Patrick Hornquist in that deal, so it was a good deal for the Panthers. We've made some trades over the years that have worked out. Of course, Matheson didn't really work out all that much as for the Penguins as he has for Montreal. They just extended him, so good for him. But the point is I wouldn't throw Sabrango under the bus just yet. He's a young defenseman. I still don't even think he's played 20 games. I think he played 4 before he got here. He's what? He's come on, load the page. There we go. Boy, why is it taking so long to load? So he's 23. I mean, he's 23. As a defenseman, that's a baby for the most part. And so he's played, he played 4 games before he came to Florida, and he's played 10 games with us. Now, somehow he's a +1. I don't know how he's got 2 assists, so I guess that's part of it. But from what I've seen, I would rather invest time into Sabrango than Bournefoot. I think Sabrango's got a little bit more of an upside. And like I said, I know he didn't, he's had some mistakes and all of that. And unfortunately, the Panthers have been in a position where every mistake we make is in the back of the net. And I don't want to throw him under the bus just yet. I think he could develop to be maybe even a second pair type of guy. When was Brandon Montour drafted? I'm curious, because he just reminds me of Brandon Montour so much. And Montour was always somebody who would get caught as well. But as he, got older and more responsible, he got better. So Montour was taken. That's interesting. Montour was taken 55th overall, and Sabrango was taken 63rd overall by Detroit. That's interesting. So they were almost taken at the exact same point in the draft. Anaheim took them with the 25th pick of the second round in 2014. And Detroit took Sabrango with the first pick in the third round in 2020. So Bill says Marchand should be wearing the C before Barkov comes back. I guess they've just made a decision not to do that. It makes sense. But yeah, Marchand is definitely lead. Everybody played really well last night, except for maybe, like I said, I'm going to give Sabrango a cookie over there and just go back to the bench, let Petrie back in. I'm going to assume because I wasn't sure what had happened on that play, but I guess somebody in the recap said that what happened was that Sabrango entered the zone and dropped pass to a Columbus player. And yeah, puck was in the back of the net. So I just didn't want Balinskis to get blamed for it because he was at least the only guy back. And remember what I asked? That's the funny thing. That was the first thing I asked about the Balinskis-Sabrango pair was who was supposed to be the responsible one out of those two goofballs. And I thought, I guess it's supposed to be Balinskis. And it was because at least he was back or it would have been a 2-on-none. So Sabrango needs a little bit of shake and bake, a little bit of seasoning, put time in the oven. It's hard to get it on a team that's trying to three-peat. You know what I mean? But I certainly would not be against him hanging around, rest of this year, next year, to at least be, 6-7D, like I said, kind of like we did Bournefoot. And when Chucky comes back anyway, he's going to have to go back to the AHL because we're not going to have roster space. Luis says, I was thinking of something. If the unbelievable happened and our first round pick wins the lottery, do I think Zito would trade it to not let the Hawks have it? Is it lottery protected? I mean, I don't remember. Let's see. I don't know how I would find this other than asking. Is it lottery protected? The pick that we gave to Chicago. No. The pick that we gave Chicago is not lottery protected. So there's the answer to that, Luis. Nope. And who would have thought it would have even needed to be lottery protected, right? But no, Chicago's got that pick. So every game we lose, they're happy. You know what I mean? I don't think we're going to finish worst in the league. So there's that. Mick says the Samuel Rodriguez Greer line was -6 total. Really? Jeez. And I thought they played well. That's crazy because the first goal was Samoskevich to Rodriguez. Jeez. That's great. I didn't realize they were on the ice. I mean, I thought they had a really good game. I thought they played well, but I mean, if 6 goals were being scored, somebody's got to be on the ice, right? Lil J says the Jackets coach is on something. He said they played well after giving up 6 goals. They played well offensively. I'm not reading that, Lil J. I don't know what that whole thing is, and I ain't participating. Hungy says, Mix says Forsling Ekblad was -5. Yeah, Forsling is just having a shit for luck season. Like, how many times has the puck bounced off of him already and gone in? I think last night made it 3. Hungy says tanking equals not good for us. We're all in fat for the next 3 years, right? Luis says the clause is if the pick is not available in 26, they're going to get in 27. I thought that's what we did, and I'm not saying you're wrong. But I thought that's what we did with the Chucky first round pick. Did we do the same thing with that one? Is that why it shows we don't have a 26th and a 27th? Because if you look on Cap Friendly, it says we don't have a first round pick till 28. So are you saying that if Chicago takes that first pick this year that we will have a 27? Because I couldn't remember where the 27 went. Hungry says that Forsling bounce was brutal. I mean, Bob makes the save, and it's like pinball, right off the pad, off the skate, and in. Like, he's had just a tough year. Yeah, but you know what? You won't hear me complain about Forsling. That dude, we don't win those cups without Forsling. You know what I mean? There's no way we win those cups without Forsling. He was just insane those last two playoff runs. So, and in the regular season. So, I don't think he's hurt. I think he's played a lot of hockey. Ekblad has actually played, knock on wood. I think Ekblad's been pretty good this year. I can't remember one instance of him losing the puck at the blue line and not being able to swivel his hips and get back. I think he must have either worked on his skating or his strength or something like that. But, because there was the other thing he got suspended for. But we won't talk about that. The point is whatever, because there for a year, I was comparing him to Keith Yandel because he was having a rough time swiveling those hips and getting around. But he's looked good so far this year. Hey, Dolphin 66. Hungy says, pick conditions for the night trade per Puckpedia. Conditions resolve pick slides to 27 if Florida trades and has their 26 prior to the 25 draft. If Florida trades. Interesting. All right, so who knows what's going to happen, right? I say just get it done and over with, which was what I would assume Zito would do. Craig says Cats don't need the pick so long as Zito and company still has their magic guy working. Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree there. And, there's no room anyway. Like, there's no – we don't – technically, we hardly even have room for Sam Miskevich. Like, if we want Sam Miskevich and Rodriguez on the team next year with the guys we already signed, Rodriguez is going to have to play 4C because you're not going to put Sam Miskevich on the fourth line. So, we already got – there's no room for anybody. You know what I mean? Schwint, wouldn't that be something if Schwint's the guy that ends up getting that? Well, I don't know. It's a lot to look at for next year, though. You know what I mean? Point being is we've got so many guys signed that we're fine. We'll be in good shape. But, yeah, with the picks, it'd be nice to have some upper echelon players developing back there. Who's the kid that came up and played? Oh, Devine. He looked all right. You know what I mean? The good thing about the guys that we are bringing up, there's nobody that's coming up that we've drafted. There's nobody that we're bringing up that when they get on the ice, we're like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? Everybody that we've brought up at least looks like an adequately ready hockey player. Like if we had to roll with Devine on the fourth line, we'd be okay. You know what I mean? None of them are like Keystone Cops out there are really giving us a problem. Luis says all depends on the salary cap the next year. That part too, right? Well, like we've said, it's one big Jenga pile. We got to get Bob's extension done. So, and what did Bobrovsky go and do? I made the video yesterday about how he's at the exact same spot he was last year. And I mean exactly. Like last year, before yesterday's game, last year, the same amount of games, Bobrovsky had allowed 52 goals. And before last night, at the same exact time, he had allowed 52 goals. So I make it a point to stick up for the dude and say he's fine, and he lets in 6. That's how I know they watch the channel. That's how I know. Because Bob watched that and he's like, no, I'm gonna whatever I have to do to make Jaws look stupid, that's what I'm gonna do. So I put out the video, and a couple hours later, he went out there and allowed 6 goals. Is what it is. The Boston pick is top 10 protected. Okay, that's right. That's the 2. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Bussy is 6-0. Jeez. Yeah, we lost him in the waiver wire. That's right. Damn. Now, where did we get him? He wasn't a draft pick, was he? Or was he? No, he was signed as a free agent. So we didn't he's undrafted. Okay. Jeez. So he's playing in Carolina, and he's got a 2.21 and a 9.03 with a shutout and an assist. Jeez. It's the second coming of Marty Brodeur, this guy. Good. That's nice. We provided the Canes with a goalie. That's the only time he's played at all in the NHL. He's 27. That's wild. What is going on here? That's the only time he's played in the NHL. That's his only NHL stats is this year. In the AHL, he's obviously been all over the place. And his numbers in the AHL have been actually pretty good. For Providence last year, 2.77 and a 9.07. The year before, 2.67 and a 9.13. Lots of starts. Very, very reliable. The year before, a 2.40 and a 9.24. How come they didn't give him an opportunity? He played his ass off the last 3 years. So he played in college in 21-22, started 39 games, was 26-12, had a 2.55 and a 9.12. Went to the AHL for the Bruins, started 32 games, went 22-5-1 with a 2.40 and a 9.24. And then in 23-24, he played a full season for Providence and played well. And again last year. And so why did he's never had an opportunity, like not even like a call-up to have like a game or two. It's not pronounced Bossy. So what is it? Is it Bussy, right? Like a bus? Kane's system definitely helps him. Sure. That's just crazy that he's never had an opportunity. I mean, he's 27. And he's had 1, 2, 3 full years in the AHL and 1, 2, 3 full years at college where his numbers, he's a damn good goalie. And just nobody give him a chance. Last year in Providence, he had 5 shutouts in 33 starts. Why the hell we let him go? Damn it. Don't look up what it means on the Urban Dictionary. Ah, geez. Really? What does it mean? Oh, I see. Jeez. That's nice. I see. Okay, so how about them Dolphins? Oh, my goodness. Well, Kyle's up and moving, so that's a good thing. Yeah, apparently, Hungary, somebody had to let me know on one of the recaps the other day. I was talking about fourth liners, and I said, what did I say? I said if you had Nosek and Greer on your fourth line, you could get away with a Gooner on the right wing. Apparently, Gooner don't mean what Gooner used to mean anymore. And so I'm officially old. I'm officially old. And somebody was laughing about it on the recap. Said, "Oh, brother," he said, "Brother, I don't think that word means what you think it meant." Oh man. Well, it's like cigarette used to be fag. Way back when they used to call, "Hey, give me a fag. I need a fag." And it originated in Britain for some reason. I read about it. I forget what it was. But yeah, it used to be. So words in Britain, it still is. Gotcha. I see. Yeah, it's just crazy. In one country, you're just asking somebody for a favor. You say the same thing in another country, and you find yourself on Twitter canceled. It's wild. The long version of the word is a kind of Scottish sausage. Yeah, Craig, these damn kids hijacked our words and refitted them, right? Yeah. I can't imagine what some of the words mean. I don't pay any, obviously. I don't pay any attention to that stuff. It is what it is. We'll be all right. As long as they don't start they gotta leave us some words. They gotta leave us a few. So I wanted to look at. I meant this morning to look at something here real quick with the standings. Who's played the least amount of games? Are there anybody with less than 26 games? No. So everybody's played at least 26 games. The Bruins have played 30. So at some point, that's in some ways it's good because it gives us some games in hand. But in other ways, they've had a lot of games crammed into their schedule so far, and they're already still doing well. Unger says this is what happens when they censored the Call of Duty lobbies and spilled out to the rest of the internet. See, I don't know anything about. I've never played an online video game. I wouldn't say I've never played a video game. I've played video games back in the day, but I've never played an online game. I've never. I tried a couple of times with Matthias to play some of his PlayStation games. My eyes just won't do it. Just won't do it. I don't understand. Like, who was the comedian? There was a comedian that was talking about PlayStation controllers. I forget who it was, but he's like, why can't we just have a button that says freaking pass? I can't get the whole combinations of the buttons to make moves and everything. Used to be pretty decent at Mortal Kombat, but I was just pressing and moving stuff. Like I couldn't tell you what the hell I was doing. Hunger says, if you want to hear some colorful language, look up recordings of COD. I gotcha. I can't imagine, man. I hear enough of it from Matthias. Yeah, old school Mortal Kombat was fun. Yeah, we used to have a good time. Except my ex-wife was too competitive. She was not good with losing. She was not good. 58 says Mortal Kombat had me doing things I had no idea how to redo. Oh yeah, ain't that the truth, right? That was, you're talking like 2008, 9, 10 period of time. I think that, maybe a little bit later than that too. But recently I tried to play NHL with Matthias, and I'm just, nah, man. I miss my old Atari controllers. I had all the old Atari stuff. My favorite was Adventure. You were the little dragon, and you went around and you collected the coins. And then there were all the little secret rooms. Hungry says, gotta love that my mom literally banned me from watching The Simpsons because it was too crass, and then bought me Mortal Kombat when I was 11. Oh my God. The Simpsons, you poor thing. Jeez. Yeah, some unstoppable move 25 times in a row. Those were the days. Yeah. Yeah. If you were playing somebody that knew how to do that one thing that you couldn't figure out how to stop, it just you were done. You were done for. Oh, but it was fun. They still is Mortal Kombat still like, are they still making like new generations of Mortal Kombat, or do they eventually stop making new ones? Wow, hold on a second. What the hell is that sound? Why do I hear somebody with a chainsaw? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me see what's going on over here. Ugh. Oh, it's these guys cutting that stuff down. I don't know why she does that. All right, I'm coming back. All right. It's Letterface. Nah, the neighbor next door has got somebody cutting down. She's got a bunch of high, tall grass that grows up. It's ornamental grass, like 6 feet tall, that grows up around her fence. And for some reason, this time of year, before it freezes, she just cuts it all back, and it doesn't, like, it's still alive out there. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, she cuts it all back. So, but it's like in thick clumps, so they have to cut it back using a chainsaw. Hunger says it's still around, but it's not very good. Yeah, I would. Nothing is as good as it used to be. That is for damn sure, including my eyesight and my hips. Well, that's the thing, Hungry. It's already froze here up a couple of nights, more than a couple nights. It's warm now. It's 40 up. Yeah, it's warmed up. It's 40 degrees. That's the situation here. It would probably freeze and die, but then still grow back. You know what I mean? Like, it's still cut back to grass. I don't know. Oh, you know what she does sometimes, though, is she takes the bales of grass and uses them as decoration for Christmas stuff, too. So maybe that's what it is. But, geez, I'm going to have to hear that chainsaw the whole time I'm here. The whole time we're streaming the game, we're going to hear that damn chainsaw out there. That's nice. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here and it's 100 with 90. Jeez, man. That's brutal. That's brutal. South. I wasn't sure if it was. Well, SA can mean a lot of. Speaking of things that means a lot of things nowadays. Hungry SA apparently. SA is no longer SA. It means something else now. Damn, we're exactly in. We're exactly, Hungry. Yeah, that's. Now what? There's somebody out here mowing grass. What the hell's going on? I'm under attack over here. Oh, that's the crop duster. There's a guy down the road that has a crop duster, and he flies it every once in a while. So you're in Paraguay. Oh, that's cool. So Kyle's gonna be thrilled with that freaking chainsaw out there all day. It's not that far from the downstairs where we're going to stream. So maybe he'll be done by the time the Dolphin game starts. Paraguay, what's that like? That's not a place you hear a lot about. Huh. That's pretty cool. Well, I thought Miss Shaws was going to join us, but she must be sleeping. She must be sleeping. So, what happened last night with Bobrovsky's numbers? Because I made such a big deal about him still being good and still being as good as he was last year. So his save percentage went down 5 points last night. Was it five? Yeah, 5. His goals against now is just a nipple under 3. He's at 298. Last night was 6 goals on how many shots? 31 shots. Jeez. Come on, Bubba. He started off the season better. But boy, since the shutout against the Devils, he's given up 4, 4, 3, 2, and of course 6 last night. And again, the shots that we're allowing, the number of shots that we're allowing, are just wildly all over the place. We allowed 17 to Edmonton, 18 to Philly, and then 30 to Toronto, 29 to Nashville, and 31 last night. Unbelievable. The difference from night to night with this team. And you can see it on the ice. They're just grinning and gutting things out. You know what I mean? They're just barely gutting points out. The points that we're getting. Can't really complain, Hungary. That's good. But 100 would, is it ever not 100 degrees with 97% humidity? Like, what's the infrastructure you guys got? I know obviously you have power, but like, are the houses solid houses with air conditioning and everything? Or are you all sitting there schwitzing? Like, comparatively, like, what's the infrastructure like there? That's always my concern when I'm going to move somewhere. Because, like, the dorms in Alaska, they didn't have air conditioning. They had heat that the whole dorm would stay the same temperature, but they didn't have air conditioning at all. So during the summer, it can get warm. It can get warmer in Alaska. Not all that humid, but it can still get up. You know, we had a couple of days, 80, 85. You have modern infrastructure. You got AC in your place. The killer is the humidity. Yeah. I have. It's not sitting here now, but in this room, I just run a dehumidifier during the summer because otherwise it doesn't matter the temperature. It's just super sticky because this is the west end of the house, and the sun just bakes this room. And there's a window right there that just bakes in the afternoon. It's a lot like summers in Miami, right? So what's winter there, Hungry? What's winter while you're there? What are you guys dealing with? Hey, Bex. Yeah. Oh, I got so many other things going today that I figured I'd go live a little bit this morning, and we still should be able to have a members stream before the hockey game. It just depends on how late the Dolphins go. Beck says, why do they give me a heart attack every game? That's what they know. This is it. Like what we saw last night and the game before, like any wins that we get are going to be fighting and scratching and clawing. You could tell last night that they had enough. When it got to 4-1, you could kind of see the switch click off in these guys. Honey says 3 weeks is 0 degrees. Oh, damn. That's interesting. Boy, I hope you're done with that chainsaw soon. What a pain in the ass that is. Mick says it changed ever since the Panthers media started emphasizing that they were allowing 17 shots or less in a bunch of consecutive games. That sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. We had been doing that. That was like back in towards the end of October. Was that when it was? Well, we had a nice little run between November 15th and November 6th. Yeah. And then since then, it's just the quality of shots that were given up. I don't remember us ever giving up this many breakaways. Craig says 4-1 kicked their pride button on. Basically, I mean, I couldn't believe it. You couldn't believe it. Like, it had been a good hockey game. It's 1-1. And then just all of a sudden it's 4-1. And you're just thinking, like, is this team ever going to get out of this slide? It was bad. Yeah, their coach looked like an overripe tomato after the game. He was not happy for sure. He had a rough day. Now, what do you guys think? Forget the part where we're Panther fans and we're happy that the goal counted. I mean, and I'll call things out. I don't care one way or another. I mean, to me, that puck was kicked in. Like, I don't know what the debate was, because they were genuinely angry. I don't think that they were acting. So I'm just curious, what do you think their position was? Because, I mean, the dude literally he looks down, lifts his skate, and kicks it in. So I don't know exactly what they were trying to say was the thing that really happened. Beck says, I think he was overreacting. I'm surprised there wasn't a coach penalty call with the amount he was cursing at the refs. But the player, too, whoever it was. So you guys think for sure it was a kick. That's what I thought. But the player got really, really angry as well. His demeanor was that of someone who was trying to explain something. So I don't know what it could be, because he looks down, lifted up his skate, and he just, if that's not a kicking motion, there would never be a goal called back for a kicking motion. Yeah, the player too, right? Yeah, it was wild. Hungry says, I have to imagine he was already basking on kicking our teeth in, and then we came back and ruined his day, right? Beggs, yeah, can we talk about how Marchand straight up went to their huddle to see what the plan was? That was great. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. I thought it was fantastic. What Kyle said is do it against the Bruins. If we can get the Bruins to call a timeout, I'd love to see him go over there and do it against the Bruins. I think if he would have been sneakier about it, he could have got away with it for a little bit longer. Messi kicked less than that. Yeah, that's cool, Bex. It's cool. We didn't talk about it for a long time. I made the same comment. Yeah, the hand pass thing was also reaching as well. Yeah, I mean, now I think what my guess is what it looks like Marchand was trying to do was glove the puck and bring it down to himself. And I guess that obviously you can glove it down to yourself, but it just kind of got left there and Bennett got to it. And I don't know what the technical aspect of that rule is. I guess there's some leeway there, and it's not a thing where if it touches the glove of one player and another player is the first one to touch it, I guess it's just not an automatic that it's a hand pass. There's a little bit of discretion there. Hungry says, speaking of Messi, Miami joined the 5 championship City Club last night after Inter Miami won the MS Cup. So for you guys that watch soccer and then you watch the other sports, how difficult is it to win the soccer championship? Like, to me, football is the easiest trophy to win. Then maybe baseball. Well, no, excuse me. Basketball is the easiest trophy to win. Then football, then baseball, then probably hockey. That's my opinion. So where would you slot in soccer? Hey, David. He says, I thought the rule was it had to be in the palm of the hand, but in the Bolts game, they decided otherwise. Yeah, it's kind of like goalie interference. You're like, what is it anymore? You watched the MLS highlights? Hungry says, I found it humorous that Leaf fans were complaining about the overtime goal when Matthews has the most infamous and egregious grab puck in recent memory. Well, Leaf fans, they hate it. Is, everything we do, they'll hate. Beck says, I'm debating going to the Avs Cats games on Thursday. Not sure I want to pay the overpriced tickets up here in Denver to see the Cats get destroyed. The only concern I would have about spending the money on that game, Bex, is that it's the second of a back-to-back. That would be my only concern, to be honest with you. But how much money are we talking? It's like somebody was on the stream last night, and when we tied up the game, he's like, should I cash out? It's like $600 to cash out or $1,000 if the Panthers win. And I'm like, for me, I'm cashing out. $600, that's my electric bill. I'll cash out my ticket, pay the bill, and be done. I wouldn't risk at that point the $600 to make the extra $4. But that's just me. Hungry says soccer, depending on the league, can be very difficult. MLS is somewhere around the same as the NBA. Gotcha. That makes sense. He's chopping broccoli out there with that chainsaw. It's also not fun being in the Avs arena as an away fan. Oh, that's interesting. David says soccer more like basketball, all about cardio, but can't compare physically with the NHL. Okay. To me, basketball is the easiest because and again, in my uneducated opinion, I kind of feel like the easiest team to build is a basketball team because less players. You know what I mean? Obviously, football, baseball got a ton of guys, and you got to have good backups because football guys are going to get hurt. Hockey, ton of guys. The basketball, if you have the right 3 or 4 out of 5 and they stay healthy, and then also the player movement in basketball. It's just guys just go from team to team. I mean, look at what LeBron did, right? You just go where the food is good, and then when you're done eating all that food, you go to the other team and eat their food. How many rings does he have, LeBron? Hungry says Colorado fans are interesting. They're loyal to an insane degree. The fact that the Rockies constantly sell out while being terrible for over a decade is insane to me. Well, they won how many cups did they win? Is it only 4, Hungry? I thought LeBron had more. Championships. There it is. It actually, you're right. Only 4. So he won twice with Miami, right? And then he won with Cleveland, and then he won with the Lakers. I really thought he had more than that. He should have had more in Miami, but they were lazy. Yeah, no, it was 4. Mick says it's easier for good players to carry a team in the NBA. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. David says, in my humble opinion, the Stanley Cup is by far the most difficult to win, followed by the Super Bowl. The golf majors. Again, golf is 90% mental, but super difficult at the highest level. Huh. Well, yeah, I mean, mentally, sure. Sure. I could, maybe 10. For me, also, don't leave out tennis there, right? I mean, tennis is grueling. My knees hurt just watching them. Groovefest says, unfortunately, the NHL has become the NBA. I mean, in what way? I don't know that I would agree with that, but I didn't feel that the NHL's player movement has become anything like what happens in basketball, but I'm open to other opinions. Hungry, I completely forgot he won with the Lakers. They should have won 4 in Miami if they weren't lazy. And the way you know is because, like, I'm sorry, but the Panthers have been screwed on calls this year. And I know that goes both ways all the time, but they've been so blatant. I mean, we haven't gotten it's gone a little, yeah, it's gone both ways for sure. There's been a few nights when you're kind of looking at the refs a little bit side eye for sure. Yeah, LeBron is great, but he's not Jordan. That's for sure. There's a circulating viral comedy show clip of Riley Smith in Vegas, and the comedian supposedly doesn't know who he is, but he seems to know his wife's name. That's interesting. Yeah, 2 players in the course of 7 days get an injury related to cooking their food, right? Didn't one of those calls get an embellishment, crew? I know we've had an embellishment call in one of these last 2 games. I think one of the ones the other player actually did get called for embellishment, right? Oh, no NBA player would last 1 minute on the ice, even if it could skate. I know, man. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a badass. Like, can you imagine Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on skates? I see what you're saying. America's Cup is insane if you're into in sailing. I don't think I've ever watched that. Yeah, that's true, Hungry. Bosch's injuries had a lot to do with them not winning the 4th one. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, kind of like when the Lakers fell apart, when MJ was diagnosed, and then I believe it was Worthy got hurt in that finals. I know MJ got, I remember watching it because it was Abdul-Jabbar's last ride when they lost. And I think Worthy got hurt in that series. I used to watch a lot of basketball back then. Dave says, also, again, in my humble opinion, free solo is one of the most difficult. Yeah, climbing with no ropes. No, I'm good. I'm going to pass on that, David. I will not be climbing without any ropes. I won't be climbing, period. But that's wild. I see what you're saying, crew. You saw Kareem versus Bruce Lee. I don't remember. I'm looking now. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. God, that's so long ago. That's so long ago. Yeah, Game of Death, 1978. Jeez, that's wild. Hungry says, since we're just talking random stuff, have I heard of a show called Shoresy? It's a Hulu comedy about a hockey player. Every episode is hilarious and chirping hockey. Oh, no, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. Yeah, the Columbus coach was not happy. That's for sure. It was Game of Death. Yeah. Yeah, Game of Death. So all right, I got to run because I got to get ready. For those of you who are members over on the football channel, I'll be there in about 15, 20 minutes. So we'll do a little Dolphins pregame over there, and then we'll have to set Kyle up. Dolphin game is in 1 hour. So thanks for hanging out. Appreciate y'all. And for those of you coming to the football channel, I'll see you in about 20 minutes. And then, of course, we'll be here again for the Panthers this afternoon. So, all right, I'll be back in a couple minutes.